He goes on to say, looks at the impeachment of Andrew Johnson, which was a farce. And Andrew Johnson was impeached for the same reason they attempt to impeach Trump. Not the specific substance, but the same reason. They didn't like him. They didn't want him after Lincoln's assassination. He was a Democrat from Tennessee, even though he was pro-union. He was a heavy drinker. But they wanted to get rid of him. The Republicans wanted to get rid of him. And they impeached him. And it went to the Senate, where they had a trial, where he's going to be removed from office. But for one Republican senator who destroyed his own career, who said in so many words on the floor of the Senate, I cannot vote to convict this president. He has not violated the Constitution of the United States. Is there one Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee? Is there one Democrat in the House of Representatives who will stand up and tell the truth? No, there's not. There aren't any. The chief lesson, Raoul Berger writes, which emerges from the impeachment trial of Andrew Johnson. And by the way, how many presidents who've been impeached have ever been removed from office? Anybody know? 0. Johnson, almost 1 vote shy. And it's looked upon, the Johnson impeachment, as a dark spot on American history, as a farce. The chief lesson which emerges from the Johnson trial is that impeachment of the president should be a last resort. Inevitably, it becomes colored by party spleen. However, justified in purpose, an attempt should first be made to accomplish the purpose by less explosive means. The problem with what Berger writes is it's reasonable, it's rational, it's temperate, sober. None of those words can describe the miscreant Nadler or his comrades. In the conclusion of his book, Raoul Berger says, finally, a decent regard for the design of the founders, a resolve to avoid the excesses which forever stigmatized the Johnson trial, should constrain the Congress to disclaim unlimited power and to act within constitutional confines. If there are indeed limits to the impeachment power, the Senate may no more act in excess of those limits when it acts judicially than when it acts legislatively. What he's saying is Congress does not have the constitutional power to act outside the limiting language in the impeachment clause. Now, obviously, there's nothing that can stop it because it's a mob. When it becomes a mob, it becomes a mob. But he's saying if it were a lawful, constitutionally acting Congress, it couldn't do these things and it wouldn't do these things. He says every branch of government is confined to the limits drawn in the Constitution. And the chief purpose of those limits was to fence in the much feared legislative branch. It was not left to the unlimited discretion of that branch to disrupt the other branches through resort to the impeachment power. To the impeachment power. Now, when you understand American history, you understand that Jefferson, among others, was very concerned about tyranny. But there were different types of tyranny. There could be the tyranny of the king, but there could be the tyranny of the parliament. That is, there could be the tyranny of a president and the tyranny of Congress. We never much look at Article 1, do we? How this Congress is hemmed in.